condescended. He came down. He lowered himself. He humbled himself. Now, we're going to talk about his humiliation in a few minutes, and we're going to use that word, not that it's distinct from this event, but to refer to something different. What we're talking about here is that he became limited. G. Campbell Morgan, referring to the babe, Jesus Christ, used the phrase, God contracted to a span. Think about that. And this was not a sudden decision, and it wasn't a sudden process. It was no impulse, of course, but it wasn't something that God decided on somewhere during the course of human events. It was predetermined from the foundation of the world, even before the creation of man, that the Son would become a man. That had always been the plan. Let me give you some verses here. You're free to turn to them if you'd like, but I'm going to read them quickly. Luke 22 and verse 22. Truly the Son of Man goeth as it was determined, but woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed. He's going to his crucifixion, going to his resurrection, going back to glory, as it was determined, predetermined. And of course, talking about Christ in Acts chapter 2 and verse 23, Peter preaches this. Him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God, ye have taken, and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Certainly those who crucified him were responsible, but that was predetermined by God. It was always God's plan that the Son of God should become a man. In our reading this morning, in Revelation 13 and verse 8, it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. His incarnation, death, burial, and resurrection was determined from the foundation of the world. Not a sudden decision, but an eternal decision. And by the way, there's been some confusion in recent days as people have discussed what happened at the Incarnation. Let's understand clearly that the Bible clearly teaches that Jesus has always been the Son of God. The second person of the Trinity, the Son, did not enter into a new relationship with the Father. He entered into a new, shall we say, appearance. But his relationship with the Father did not change. Again, in John chapter 1, we read a moment ago from verse 14. Verse 18 says, no man hath seen God at any time, the only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father. He hath declared him. The Son of God is and has been in the bosom of the Father since the very beginning. And of course, himself had no beginning. I can't understand that. Can you? I can't understand there being no beginning. And yet, if I try to conceive of there being a beginning, I have just limited that to a level of understanding which means so little to me. I violate the truth of the Word. God never began. The Son never began. He has always been the Son of God in the bosom of the Father. In Hebrews 13 and verse 8, it tells us there, Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. He didn't change his relationship with the Father at the Incarnation. Make no mistake about that. In John chapter 17 and verse 5, Christ praying said, O Father, glorify thou me with thine own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. Now,